That victim, by the way, is a soldier who was in town for his grandmother's funeral. And lest you think, well, he was after an underage girl. No, he wasn't. Police say he was never under the impression he was meeting anyone underage. The student who allegedly lured him used her Tinder account to indicate that she was 18. She and her cohorts are charged with kidnapping, conspiracy, among other things, and have all pleaded not guilty. I'm joined now by Brad Patrician. He's a reporter for the Worcester Telegram and Gazette. I just cannot believe, Brad, what I just saw. I'm just sick to my stomach. That victim, the 22-year-old soldier, he was cleared pretty quickly. How did the police sort of make all the connections?
Yes, so thanks for having me, Ashley. So unlike many of these videos that you've seen, especially with Chris Hansen, obviously the people that were trying to lure this man to campus had not actually told him that the victim was, a child, a 13-year-old or something like that. There is some controversy with the kids. They said that she was 17. However, the age of consent in Massachusetts is 16. So essentially, when the police met with this student who called the police very quickly after this happened, he actually pulled into a church parking lot after you saw in that video. He peeled out, went to a church parking lot down the street, called the police. They came and met with him. Were able to confirm pretty quickly, he was 22. They looked at the Tinder messages. Clearly, the woman's age on Tinder was 18, so they determined pretty quickly there was no crime there. And they went about the task of collecting evidence. And actually, when they went back to the school, the kids were very uncooperative. But according to the reports that I read, they all streamed into the police station on campus, over the next couple of days. Many of them obviously concerned about what might happen to them.
Yeah, all with different stories to tell and not exactly the truth, as I understand it. I just want to read this from the Assumption University Campus Police. They said a review of Tinder messages shared by Ms. Brainerd, who is one of the accused, and the victim is negative for any indication that the subject was looking for underage girls to meet. The information she was providing was not factual, but falsification and lies. You were in court when those kids were arraigned. Was that a whole bunch of oh, this got real fast? And not only that, were they charged with other things on top of the obvious?
Yeah, so I was in court. It was a very quick arraignment in Worcester District Court. They were all released without any requirement of bail. Actually, in some of the cases, the arraignments took less than 15 seconds for some of these kids, and they were very quickly in and out of court. They didn't have any comment. All of them are charged with kidnapping, which is a felony in Massachusetts, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, so a pretty serious charge. They're also charged with conspiracy, and two of them are facing additional charges. One, the student who received the Tinder message, is receiving a charge of misleading police. She allegedly gave them a pretty false story when they first knocked on her dorm room a few minutes later. And the second student, you can't see it in that video, but allegedly when the car was pulling away, he's accused of slamming the door on the victim's head before he could get out of there.
And this is a soldier, 22 years old, who was in town for his grandmother's funeral and thought he would go on a date. Perfectly legal for a 22-year-old to meet up with an 18-year-old, especially in a public place like campus. Speaking of campus, what's happening with these students? Were they all students for starters? And are they still students now that they're facing these extraordinarily serious charges?
So my understanding is they are all students. I don't know whether they still are all students. Unfortunately, the school, citing federal privacy laws, won't talk about any potential discipline, although I have confirmed that there's at least one of the students that's been suspended. And obviously, given the gravity of the charges, would not be surprising if more of them also faced some serious disciplinary action.
Boy, I sure hope so. If they're guilty of doing what they did or what they are alleged to have done, they should be kicked out on their behinds ASAP. Just one question. I only have 10 seconds left, Brad, but this whole To Catch a Predator trend on TikTok, is this incident going to chill that trend, or is it having any effect on it?
Well, obviously, time will tell. I mean, we at USA Today, we found evidence of this happening in recent years in 3/4 of states. So it seems like it's been a pretty strong trend. Authorities have spoken out against it, and they've really noted that, I mean, unlike the Chris Hansen show, the police aren't involved here. So a lot of things could happen. For all those students knew it, that may not have been a 22-year-old. It might have been an older gentleman with a weapon or something like that. So they're really stressing that this is something that people should not be taking into their own hands.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.